No, there's not.
So it looks like the first thing we have up is the proclamation. Okay, this is titled "The Colerain Township United Against Opiate Abuse and Heroin Proclamation." Whereas at least 2 people die from a prescription painkiller or heroin overdose every day in the 20 counties that surround Cincinnati. Whereas Colerain Township Police and Fire Departments experienced close to 150 opiate overdose-related emergency medical calls in 2014. Whereas our rates of new hepatitis C infections are higher than the national average. Whereas our law enforcement officials are seeing higher rates of crime related to heroin. Whereas the number of children born needing to withdraw from opiates or heroin continues to rise in our local hospitals. Whereas community members have come together to address this epidemic across the region. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the week of February 23rd through March 1st, 2015 be the United Against Opiate Abuse and Heroin Week. All over the region we will use this week to develop solutions to this problem and understand the role that each of us can play in eliminating opiate abuse and heroin from our communities.
Thank you.
Dan, you spent some time considering this issue over the last few days.
We did. Actually, Lieutenant Sharp and I attended the Regional Opiate Summit in Northern Kentucky the last 2 days with a lot of folks that serve that are addressing this issue. And in fact, Colerain Township has an event at the Clifford Instruments property on Colerain Avenue tomorrow evening from 6:30 to 8 to engage the community and address the issues that they may have or the questions that they may have, so we can look at this from a holistic perspective for Colerain Township. It is affecting. There is no demographic makeup or picture of an abuse situation. It is affecting everybody's lives in every community throughout the region, and it's reached. In fact, Senator McConnell, Senator Portman, and Senator Coach each presented a message to the group thanking them for taking on this challenge, because it is definitely a challenge. It's affecting so many lives. So I appreciate, and we had at the summit today during lunch, everyone that had made this proclamation, and on behalf of the board, I read our proclamation and joined the group for a photograph. And of all the different groups, there was probably 100 people on the stage. We were the only government entity as a community that said we want to stand. I was pretty proud of that. So hopefully we can continue to push the message forward and be a leader in this issue. So I thank the board for standing with us and supporting that.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Next, we have a public hearing tonight on the Chick-fil-A preliminary development plan. And I didn't see, were there anybody signed in? Or there's not really. Go ahead.
Good evening. Should we get started?
Sure.
All right. So this evening we have a public hearing on a preliminary development plan application for a Chick-fil-A. This Chick-fil-A will be located in an outlot of the new Aldi at Mall and Colerain Avenue. The history of this case, it had an informal concept hearing in October with the Colerain Township Zoning Commission. In January, it went to the Regional Planning Commission, where they voted 6-0 to recommend approval of the preliminary development plan. The Zoning Commission heard it later in January and voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the preliminary development plan with 3 conditions. This month, the case comes to you all for approval, and then it goes back to the Zoning Commission for a final development plan in March. This is an aerial of the area. This is the Aldi. This is the mall to the west, Colerain running north-south. The area that we're talking about is right here at the northwest intersection of Mall and Colerain. The zoning on the property is planned development business currently, and it would remain planned development business. We're just making a major modification to that plan. So this is the site plan. Access to the site would be off of Mall Drive. You would enter in here between the Aldi and the proposed Chick-fil-A and move west through the site. There's a double-stacked drive-through here. And this is how it's laid out. The dumpster is located in the back of the property. There are 7 criteria in the zoning resolution for making a map amendment, and this, just to be brief about it, this application meets all 7 of the criteria, and that's all stipulated in my staff report. So at the zoning commission, this is an important point. At the zoning commission hearing, they recommended approval with 3 conditions. One of the conditions related to the creation of a streetscape buffer area 15 feet on Colerain Avenue to allow for our streetscape to get built out with the street lights and the landscaping and that. They also recommended a 15-foot buffer area on Mall Drive. Subsequent to the zoning commission's meeting, it became clear that that's going to be not possible because there's a utility easement that runs across the north part of the site. So in an effort to get at the intent of what that recommendation was, I'm recommending we require the applicant to, instead of move the whole site south, which is going to not be possible, to instead make improvements to this grassy area that's actually within the right-of-way. And so what we would do is we'd enter into a revocable agreement with the applicant and say, hey, you're allowed to put this stuff into our right-of-way, but if we ever need to expand in the future Mall Drive, because it's Township Road, we would have the ability to revoke that permit, and they would. So I think, my recommendation to you all is a bit different from what the zoning commission approved, but I wanted to make that clear to you all. I think we're getting to the same intent. What I'm suggesting instead is the language that the landscaped area on Mall Drive be improved with landscaping per this section of the zoning resolution, instead of requiring them to build the 15-foot buffer. So with that, I recommend approval with the conditions listed on the screen and in your report. Be happy to answer any questions. I don't believe the applicant is here.
I have none.
I have none.
I'll move to open the public hearing.
Second?
Is there anybody that wished?
Aye.
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 Is there anyone that wished to speak on this tonight? No one's signed in. Is there a motion to close?
Close the public hearing?
Second. Aye.
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 Is there a motion to approve the modified plan?
I'll move to approve with a caveat that was in the modification that was recommended by our Director of Zoning and Planning.
I'll second that. And just say that, other than maybe Kroger Marketplace, DSW, and maybe 1 or 2 others, I can't think of a business that I've had more residents ask me about when they're going to come to Colerain than a Chick-fil-A over the last few years. So very excited about this business coming to Colerain Township. I wish them nothing but success.
And there is a playland.
Yes, there is,
Good.
with double stacking drive-throughs.
Perfect.
Let me tell you this week, I would have really liked to have that indoor playland. All right, here's the resolution for you. Let me call the roll. Mr. Dieters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ms. Ritter?
Aye.
And I think I threatened Frank on a weekly basis with his job if he didn't make this happen. So I'm obviously very happy that this is going forward.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Now, let me borrow your pen. Next up, public safety.
On behalf of Chief Cook and Colerain Fire Department, I have 2 items for the board's action. First item is part-time pay rate change. Firefighter EMT George Siebel, promotion to the rank of firefighter EMT FAO at a rate of $14.72 an hour, with an effective date of March 1, 2015. Request the board's approval.
So moved.
Second. Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Ritter?
Aye.
Next, it's one of our favorites, is a monetary donation acceptance. The fire department received a $100 personal check from Ms. Cynthia Tabar. I'm not sure so I apologize for mispronouncing if that's what it is. She's in appreciation for emergency medical services that the firefighters and medics provided to her. So I ask for the board's approval to accept that donation.
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ms. Ritter?
Aye.
Good evening. If you recall, at the February 10th meeting, you approved the promotion of Officer Ed Cordy to the rank of sergeant. Just to kind of recap, since we have some guests here, Officer Cordy joined the Colerain Police Department in 2008. He has served in the role of patrol officer and also in the supervisory role as officer in charge. Officer Cordy is a 1999 graduate of LaSalle High School. He received his bachelor's degree in business administration from Mount St. Joe in 2003. Officer Cordy and his wife, Erin, are the parents of 3 young daughters, who I think are probably in attendance here tonight. Sergeant Cordy will serve a 1-year probationary period, and his salary will be $68,869.97. His appointment was effective on February 15th, 2015. If you'll step forward, I'd like to swear him in with his family.
I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution of the State of Ohio and its bylaws. And the Constitution of the State of Ohio and its bylaws. I will abide by the Colerain Police Department in Michigan, Valley State. I will abide by the Colerain Township Police, Michigan, Valley State. Code of ethics. Code of ethics. Rules and regulations. Rules and regulations. And police department policy and procedures. Police department policy and procedures. I will faithfully discharge the duties of sergeant. I will faithfully discharge the duties of sergeant. In a Colerain Township. In a Colerain County. State of Ohio. That's my ability. That's my ability. So help me God.
Ed, I want to wish you the best of luck in your new position. I know you're going to be highly successful. Last year, when I went through the Citizens Police Academy, I was fortunate enough to have Ed lead my class, and I just know how passionate he is about law enforcement in this community, so I just know you're going to be tremendously successful, and I know your family's tremendously proud of you, and the whole board and our administration is as well.
Thank you.
We're excited because that promotion kind of puts our leadership team in place now. We're ready to move forward. We've got everybody in the positions they need to be in, so we're excited as well.
Great.
Next few items are going to be donation acceptance, all for the police canine unit. I apologize, Brian was going to be here with the dog, and he must have got caught up in a training event, but I will make sure he's here at the next meeting. First is respectfully request approval to accept $250 donation from Home Depot. This donation will go towards equipment for the team to include care and safety items for Kudo.
So moved.
Second?
Peters?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ritter?
Aye.
Request approval to accept $250 donation from Northgate Mall. This donation will also go towards equipment for the team to include care and safety items for Kudo.
So moved.
Second?
Peters?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ritter?
Aye.
The third item is a donation of $46 from Sandy Kramer, a resident. This donation will go towards equipment for the team to include brushes, leashes, and bowls for food.
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ritter?
Aye.
Request approval to accept $700 donation for the canine unit from AAA. This donation will help fund the purchase of a conversion kit for the canine vehicle and provides a safe place for Kudo inside the car, and also includes a temperature control system and an automatic door release.
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Aye.
Respectfully request approval to accept an in-kind donation from Jack's Pets for food for Kudo. The donation is worth approximately $500 per year, and it'll be an ongoing donation.
So moved.
Second?
Peters?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ritter?
Aye.
Request your approval to accept an in-kind donation from Miami-Town Pet Hospital for free preventative care and general checkups for Kudo. They are also providing a discounted rate for any emergencies or surgeries he may have to have in the future.
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ritter?
Aye.
Finally, request approval to accept an in-kind donation from Walmart for frontline flea medication for Kudo at about $120 per year. That'll also be an ongoing donation.
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ritter?
Aye.
You can see there's a lot of excitement in the community, and Brian's done a great job making his way through the business community, and everybody's very excited. So I think there'll be more to come in the future meetings. Next item is a request for appointment of reserve officers. Respectfully request the board's approval to appoint Kevin Smith to the position of reserve police officer. Mr. Smith is a 2007 graduate of Winton Woods High School, where he participated in the United States Navy ROTC program. He was a police explorer and is currently attending Butler Tech Police Academy, and he currently works as an arborist for a local landscaping company. Upon board approval, Mr. Smith would receive no salary, but would be eligible for the Northgate Mall stipend of $15 per hour for any hours worked at Northgate Mall. His appointment would be effective upon his successful completion of the police academy and passage of the Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy certification test. That projected graduation and test date is June 26, 2015.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Peter?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
And finally, respectfully request the board's approval to appoint Brandon Ellis to the position of Reserve Police Officer. Mr. Ellis is a 2008 graduate of Western Hills High School and graduated from the Scarlet Oaks Police Academy in November of 2014. Upon board approval, Mr. Ellis would receive no salary, but would be eligible for the Northgate Mall stipend of $15 per hour for any hours worked at Northgate Mall. His appointment would be effective February 25th, 2014.
Motion to approve?
Second. Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And while they're being very, very good, if you guys want to leave, you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. You're not going to insult us. But they are being very, very good. Oh, and I see, yeah, I have a feeling somebody's on his way over here with 4 legs.
This is Tudo. He's our 2-year-old Dutch Shepherd. Me and him have been together about 2 months now. Things are going really well. He's extremely obedient and driven. He's very good with his nose. Looks like we're going to be doing a 14-week-long training course with the city here in a few weeks. This will start in the middle of March, and that's going to look to put us out on the street at middle to end of June. Once we complete that training course, we will be certified in narcotics detection, patrol work, and tracking people. We go to track anything from a suspect to helping out with the critical incident team and tracking missing children or handicapped citizens or elderly people that have walked away from their homes.
He's become part of our police department. He's there every morning. I get to pet him once a day. He's easy to get along with. He's very sociable, and that's the difference between Kudo and a lot of the canines you'll see. He's very approachable and very friendly, kind of like a pet at home more than he is an intimidating presence.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you've had a chance to have any of us from the PD talk about him all, but he's kind of got that on and off switch where, when we want him to be mean, he'll go after and fight a person or whatever we need him to do at that time. But, that it's basically out of, game for him. If I tell him to do it or he sees someone hurting me, he'll do that. But, it's not just he's constantly aggressive, trying to go after someone. I've had him up at the mall for many, many hours. I've had him at nursing homes and different around large groups of kids, and I mean, he likes the attention. He's a little bit different than a regular dog. He's not going to give you a bunch of love in return. He's always working, waiting for that next command, but he allows everyone to come up and pet him, and without any kind of issues. I've grown to completely trust him, around my kids, or my kid, around some of the other kids of my family, that's in my family. I have a 2-year-old boy, and we have one on the way, and my 2-year-old roll around on him and dump his toys on him and stuff, and he just lays there. If I tell him to lay there, he should lay there all day. So.
I think an important part too is the training he'll receive is above and beyond what's required by the state. So we're making sure he's got the very best out there and the best certifications and all the affiliations we can to make sure we're protected.
It'd be nice if he came back to the board periodically and just told us success stories, with his deployment. But
It's definitely different because I've met a few police dogs and some of them are just quite crazy. So, yes, he's definitely much calmer than the general, what you think of as a police dog. Some of them you approach the car and they just go bonkers. So, yes, he's much calmer than most.
Well, he's been living in a family environment for 2 years. His older brother Atticus Hill School.
Okay.
He's also served But he's been training in that environment of kids since he was born with his owner, who was the trainer, trainers for Kudo. But that integration, that socialization is what is so impressive. So Kudo's mission is part of the drugs, but also the weaponry and things of that nature for that school protection. But just being involved with people and families, he's been training since he was born. Giving it to Brian, the obedience part is more about Brian than about Kudo. You know what I mean? He understands what his responsibility is integrating the relationship with Brian. And that's what the last 2 months has been really impressive to see. Is now him and Brian are there. You can see that teamwork. And watching those two move, they've already had some success stories just in this training environment of following along after a criminal incident where maybe another canine worked. Kudo moving in and doing an article search, tracking to the blood, tracking to the head where that was lost that maybe another canine didn't find. Kudo tracked to it. And Brian used these, find a handcuff key in this, throwing out the handcuff key into the field out here. Kudo finds it. He found it. I mean, so that power of that smell and that whatever the official name of the smeller is, he's got one, and it's really exciting to know what these guys can do in evolution as canine. Kudo, he pays it. He watches Brian everywhere he goes. Yeah.
Well, it's obvious that the community's excited, especially, I mean, you've seen it tonight in the donations here, so I'm sure it'll only continue to be a good union here, and we look forward to more visits from the dog.
Come back, more all trained, and give you some demonstration.
Great.
Perfect.
I appreciate, the opportunity to, allow us to have the dog, and I think it's going to be an amazing tool for our department and the citizens of Colerain Township. It's going to, be a positive way for us to interact with citizens. I mean, everyone, they like the police, they like the dog, and I think that just reinforces our community pushing philosophy here at Colerain. This is going to be a tremendous program. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing him in. I know.
Very unique.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
All right, we're on to public services.
Did we vote on both reserve officers?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Wrote down you.
Okay.
The next item, I'll be for Tim Lang, and the next item is seasonal worker James Adelta, hiring at $11 an hour. This was necessitated by some illness and injuries in the Parks Department, and with the warm weather. We had to provide this seasonal staffing just to be even near what we were in previous years. Effective March 2nd. I'm
Motion
sorry.
to approve?
Second. Aye.
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 Yes, the administration items. The next item is approval of road mileage as of 1/23/2015 is 112.418 miles in Colerain Township as far as the township streets.
I'll make a motion to approve. And I'd also ask you, if you don't mind, to, this is no rush on this request, but I'd like to see where this ranks among townships in Ohio and then in municipalities in Hamilton County. It's quite large. We know that, population-wise, if we were a city, we'd be the 13th or 14th largest in Ohio, but I'm curious about the road mileage and where that compares. Thank you.
So that's easy. Get that for you. Thank you.
But I will
Thanks.
make a motion.
I'll second. Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Ms. Smithers?
Yes, the next item is approval of an interfund advance. Recommend approval of an interfund advance from the general fund to the police fund in the amount of $300,000 for cash flow purposes.
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
And when do you anticipate the repayment?
I believe we just contacted the the auditor about when the advances should be forwarded. So I would assume as soon as those are received, we'd be paying this back.
Yeah, and I think this was baked into our projections always, and for the record, the levy that passed last May, we were very upfront that the receipts wouldn't start to flow until 2015, and so I think it's a natural extension of that, so.
Actually, I contacted the county auditor last week, but the person I contacted has been out of the office. And when I finally contacted someone else thinking, well, I'll give her a little bit of time with the weather last week. But, yeah, she's been out of the office, so I called her boss this morning, and should be processed tomorrow,
The advance?
the advance,
Great.
our tax advance.
The next item is approval to auction surplus items. The resolution for consideration this evening is a resolution for disposal by public sale of vehicles value greater than $2,500 and equipment which are obsolete, unfit, or unneeded for public use according to ORC 505.10.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Peters?
Aye.
Mr. Brenner?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next item is approval of a pay rate adjustment for Tim Lang, effective February 15th, to the Public Service Director, salary at $75,000 annually.
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Mr. Brenner?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next item is appointment of our JED Council. This is for the Liberty Nursing Healthcare Project. And as part of the JED regulations, we would need a representative from our partner, the City of Cheviot, one from Colerain Township, one from a worker at the facility, and a representative of the owner of the business. And tonight I'm asking the board to appoint Jeff Urban, who works at the Liberty Nursing Healthcare here in Colerain Township, and Bruce Carpenter, who is the Vice President of Liberty Nursing Healthcare. He's representing the owner of the company, and Trustee Ritter, who would be the township representative on the JED Council.
So moved.
Second.
Peters?
Aye.
Mr. Brenner?
Aye.
Mr. Bitter?
Abstain.
And the next item is the, the acceptance of bids for underground utilities. And if the trustees recall, this was this was the capital improvement that we sold bonds for years ago. We had an inordinate amount of time spent trying to get the right-of-way needed for this bearing of utility project. We couldn't apply for the permit until we had acquired all the right-of-way. We just opened up the bids for this project, and the recommendation this evening is to accept the bid and allow the assistant administrator to sign the contract for the bearing of utilities. The low bidder was Delta Construction in the sum of $471,418.
And Frank, we're contractually bound to spend this money because of the covenants and the bonds.
The
several years
bonds
ago.
say that this is for infrastructure for our streetscape project in the neighbor vicinity of Colerain Springdale. It's very specific, and
We have no choice but to do it.
not really.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Aye.
Mr. Brenner?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, the next item is approval of engineering services. And there's a leadership committee that is made up of various, Clifford YMCA, the Northwest Local School District has a representative, Colerain Township, and many of our businesses. And this has been a discussion for many years now, is about the problem with the students walking in the middle of Joseph Road and on the sides, and it's probably one of the most requested sidewalks we get in this township. The agenda item tonight is the request to contract and allow the system administrator to sign the contract for sidewalk design on Joseph Road, and that would be with Branstetter Carroll for the sum of $18,000. The design would allow us to have a preliminary design to approach the businesses, the church, the condo association with a preliminary design, tell them where the sidewalk would be located. Our plan is hopefully, because this is really a safety project for the kids, that we would get that right-of-way dedicated for this, and hopefully apply for some type of grant funding in the future, or wait till we can fund this fully through our sidewalk fund that we have as well. The sidewalk fund will pay for the engineering for this. It's well within our available funds, but we are short at this time of providing the full construction funds for this.
I would offer a motion to approve with the provision that we not use any general fund money for this ultimately, given the scarcity of funds and the, I dare say, crisis in that area right now. So I support this project. I think it's well needed for safety, if nothing else, for Colerain High School students. But given the priority of our road maintenance right now, I just feel comfortable putting that provision on it, just because I think should be disciplined in that area.
I'll second with the condition. Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next item is a resolution on the Kroger tax increment financing, the TIF site. And the resolution, this can be one vote, for the TIF would be a resolution declaring to be public purpose certain public improvements which are necessary for the further development of certain parcels of real property within the township, exempting such improvements from real property taxation, authorizing such documents as may be necessary, and establishing a tax increment equivalent fund. You would be approving that in the tax incentive service agreement as well with your vote for this evening. This would be a 20-year TIF, by the way, and the total value of the TIF would be in the neighborhood of about $3.2 million over the 20-year period.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Peters?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Scrivener?
Aye.
Thank you. That's all I have this evening.
Ms. Harlow, did you have anything tonight that you needed? I think that's it. Anybody else? Anything?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Aye.
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 Good night, everybody.